You've got a low pass filter as well.
Yeah, yeah. I like Pirates of the Caribbean film a
Yeah,
lot, Jack
great
Sparrow,
film. I agree.
and
Great film.
that's
Yeah,
why.
I saw it earlier on.
So it's called Barbanera. I mean, I am one of the guys which, after doing those three pedals, chorus, fuzz, those basic pedals, I started thinking, okay, fine with that. But right after the chorus, actually, I was starting to think, well, the chorus is a pretty difficult pedal to build and to nail. Okay, I came to a point where my level of knowledge is pretty much good. And I want to challenge myself to design something which is really complex. And one of the issues which I was having was on my pedal board, I needed to have the Moog low pass filter 101 along with a CP251 control processor, still by Moog. Pretty much the processor was generating a triangle wave, which was controlling the cutoff knob of the low pass filter. So you could be able to hear like wah, 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 wah effect. And this is one of my favorite kind of sounds. And it's something which I learned from John Frusciante, of course. And still, I'm saying I'm open-minded, but I find myself to be stuck in John Frusciante. I mean, the tone is John Frusciante, but then I try to play differently. But that's a different story. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking, oh my God, I have a Moog pedal, which is like 4 times this pedal. I have a control processor, which is 2 times this pedal. My pedal board is full of things which I don't need in terms of space. What if I open up my Moog low pass filter? And at that time, they were discontinuing them. So my idea was, okay, it's not fair to do that if Moog is still selling them. But as soon as they discontinued them, like my mind opened up and I was like, okay, it feels more fair to replicate their circuit. And so I started like a nightmare job. I started disassembling all of the components. I started like drawing the circuit board onto paper, searching for the connections. And then when I went to the schematic, I had to cancel the PCB traces from the drawing. And I mean, it's been crazy because it has like 200 components inside and many, many, many connections.
That was a
But
brave thing to do.
yeah, but after I believe 6 months of doing that, and one night I even lost files on my computer, so I had to go back to the work of 1 month before. Oh my God, don't let me think about it. But yeah, I had the final schematic of the pedal. I thought so. And I simply added a multiple waveform kind of LFO. So you have depth, rate, and then like square wave, triangle, ramp, sine, stuff like that. And so pretty much this is the Moog low pass filter with the control processor all in one small single pedal.
Wow.
And yeah, I thought I was done, but the process has been longer than that. I had made some mistakes. I mean, with that many components, I couldn't do anything else than like having some mistakes done. But yeah, thanks to the knowledge which I built up, I was able to solve them and everything went smooth finally. So yeah, that's the story of this one, pretty much. And it's
Great.
still, I mean, I build pedals for myself. Then if people likes them, it's a bonus for me.
And you've got is it the Harafna?
Okay, yeah, that was the same idea as the Barbanera, but it was before thinking I could replicate actually 100% a Moog low pass filter pedal. So that one was my take over the low pass filter sound with an LFO controlling the cutoff frequency, but it wasn't the exact same circuit as the Moog low pass filter. And it's just been like a limited run of 30 pedals or something. But then right after I started working onto the Barbanera, and so I just discontinued the Harafna because there was no point. The Barbanera is an improved version of that.
Yeah. And the Malambra purple and orange, what are they?
Yeah, yeah, I started challenging myself as I told you. So the Malambra, I have just an orange one here with me. Yeah, I was experiencing a scarcity of MN 3001s, 3002s, which go inside of the chorus ensemble C1. And yeah, I eventually have been able to find out more, another supply of them. But at that time, I was thinking, what am I going to do if I don't find a new supply of those? And I saw a C2 Waza coming, which had a C1 mode. I bought it, and I used my C1 preamp along with the C2 Waza in C1 mode and tried to replicate the sound of the original C1, because the C1 is like a combination of preamp and then chorus. And it sounded pretty close, I need to be honest. Like without the preamp, it wasn't super close, but with the preamp, it was close. There were some differences, which, I mean, you couldn't do anything about that with C2 Waza, but I can't remember what they were. There was something that was really disappointing me, like something which was bringing you completely off from what your C1 originally does. But forgive me, I can't remember them. And so I thought, okay, I can try to understand how did they do this? Like, how are they able to get the C1 tone out of newer chips? And so I opened it up, I started looking at things, took inspiration from them pretty much. And yeah, I was able to replicate their core circuit of the C1 mode. But at that point, I was like, yeah, but why people should buy my pedal if it's like a part of what the C2 Waza does? It's pointless. And so I thought, I really like the vinyl effect, the warping effect of vinyl records, even of like tape echoes and stuff like that. So I thought I could use a random LFO to drive the chorus section so that like the pitch shifts randomly at random rates and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, I can make the core circuit a C1 sounding circuit, but then I can drive that circuit with crazy things. And so I simply put the multiple LFO onto this chorus pedal. And it is like a C1 sounding crazier pedal with like the modern chip inside. So the sound is close to the C1. It's not exactly that. But I mean, if you use the triangle wave on this, you can get super close because that's what the C1 uses. But yeah, you have the opportunity of using all different kind of LFO waveforms, which really bring you into some crazy territories. And yeah, I was kind of like enjoying the sound which this pedal was making as a vibrato pedal. Like really fast and huge pitch shifting vibrato, which sounded a lot like a ghost pretty much to me, like something scary whenever I was playing. And so I just asked my girlfriend, Viviana, can you draw something super scary for me?
And that's what you came up with.
Yeah.
Superb. So when somebody, okay, I'm going to buy, let's say I buy one of your pedals and you get it shipped to me, and I pop it on my board, plug my guitar in, plug it into my amp. What are you hoping that the feelings and thoughts and about your work, what you're hoping that I feel and think about your pedal?
Well, since I really put all of my efforts into this, whenever some guy actually is disappointed with my pedals, it hurts a lot for me. So I'm at least hoping that people who get my pedals are going to keep them at least on their board for some reason or another, because that is still important for me. Like, I mean, creativity for me is super important. And like my pedals are really driving you into get more creative. So I'm happy even if just a guy buys my pedal and unlocks some sort of place inside of his mind and can go somewhere where he didn't think he could go without the pedal. But that's what pedals are about. Like, if you don't just consider the usual suspects like clones, blues drivers, and all this sort of pedals, if you get into this like crazier sort of pedal things, that's what they're all about. Otherwise, they would be just sucking tone out of your pedal board if they were there and weren't adding anything to your experience. Like I feel like they need to be, and they need to be felt from the user like an additional instrument to the playing experience.
Yeah, I agree. And so what other builders are you do you look at and see out there in the community that are that you admire, and in some of the pedals that are being created, who is really kind of you know, standing out for you at the moment?
Well, in order for me to, it's something which I don't like about myself, but in order for me to be like impressed by other people's job, they really need to make some superb thing, because otherwise I'm always like, I can do that. So they really need to grab my attention. And the first one which comes to my mind is Chase Bliss Audio.
Do you know what? I knew you was going to say that, or I thought you was going to say that.
Okay, and I'll explain you why. I am now luckily a computer science engineer after my university period, and being like an amateur electronic engineer and being a computer engineer, the thing those guys made just fascinates me. Like, if I had a trip to the USA and was able to visit them for some strange reason, I would be like a kid with his toys. Because they managed to, first of all, have this crazy idea which no one had before, which is digitally controlling analog circuits. Because we all love analog circuits. I do. But also I find that even like with the Barbanera pedal, okay, you have so many possibilities with this pedal, but being limited to be just analog, this limits you to have just one setting at a time. And if you want to search for another setting, you're always afraid of losing the previous setting, which you really enjoyed. And probably this will lead you to not change the setting, so not experiment with the pedal, because you have always that fear of never being able to go back to what you enjoyed. And especially, I mean, overdrive pedals, simple pedals, there's no point in like digitally controlling them, because like a 3-knob, 4-knob pedal, you can go back to that setting, you know, it can take 5 minutes, but you can eventually do that. But with crazier effects, like this one, the Malambra, and like the other ones which I have in my works, that would be a super nice feature to have. And I mean, just for the fact that they have been the first guys to even think about that, I am grateful for this, because they opened up a world in the pedal industry, which wasn't a thing before. And they opened up my mind, because nowadays, well, when I started doing pedals, I had to learn how to do electronics. And now I kind of want to learn how to digitally control analog circuits by myself.
Good for you.
It's very hard. It's something that it's challenging me so much. Probably I will never be able to do that in my lifetime, because I mean, having to work actually on physical products gets a lot of your daytime. And I mean, even if you want to spend like an hour per day studying that sort of thing, probably will take a lot of time. But yeah, I mean, it's something which I really enjoy, and I have a lot of their pedals, and I'm following them pretty much since they were out. Like, I'm an early fan, and I've always appreciated them. And on the other hand, even if I really like analog circuits, I also admire, being a computer engineer, all the work behind. I mean, they started as Line 6, they became Strymon, Maris, so they're doing an immense job. And I mean, it's just persons which humanly I appreciate. Like, I mean, even having a talk with them, it would be a dream for me. So that's pretty much how I see it. Oh, also, I like adventure rodeo pedals. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're like a kind of more of a boutique kind of business. I think they're from, I don't know where they're from. But yeah, they, even being a super small business, they have managed to like do a Kickstarter campaign to get their own, I believe, UV printer to print the graphics onto their own pedals. They started doing everything in-house from scratch, and their pedal ideas, even if they're mostly analog circuits, but nowadays they switched over to digital as well. Even if they're analog, they kind of think out of the box. So they don't do pedals, which is something which you have already seen in the past. Even if they need to add an extra feature, but they always bring in something new to the equation. And even if I don't know many other builders, because I don't spend my day searching for other builders, honestly, but if I happen to find a builder which, I mean, has this sort of attitude, I like them.
I agree. And for yourself, finally, what's next for your company? What's next for you? What's next for your company? What have you got planned that you're able to tell us, obviously, without giving away too many trade secrets, if you like?
I mean, there's no like super huge secret, but I kind of want to expand the Moog line, so with other Moog style pedals. And yeah, there is another thing which I'm doing for the Gianfrusciante community. Honestly, I don't mind speaking about it. Pretty much John Frusciante used a big muff pedal, but he used a big muff which was out at the earliest years of electroharmonics getting back to the USA. So they kind of made the big muff again, following a circuit drawn by Frantone from I mean that builder, which I really love. She also has got a YouTube channel, I believe, and that revision of the big muff has been out just for a couple of years and has never been done again. And apparently John Frusciante uses that version of the big muff. And you know, there are many versions of the big muff out there. So, and they all sound a tiny bit different from one another. And so I thought, okay, if people want to get the right John Frusciante big muff tone, it's hard to find the correct version. A lot of people just buys whatever they find, and then they're not happy with the sound of it. And so I thought I could try doing that circuit, but of course I'm not spoiling anything, but it would be just too little for me to just replicate a big muff, so it will have crazy features on top of that.
Wow, very nice. And I've got to ask, I think I know what the answer is going to be, but seeing as you're such a huge John Frusciante fan, what guitars do you play?
Well, I have got two Stratocasters. One is the Squire Strat, which I started with and is still with me. Another one is like a Mexican one, but it's like the top of the range of that. It's like a nitrocellulose finish, and I bought that because I believed that nitrocellulose was a little bit better, and I also like the fact of how guitars age naturally. So if I had to get a polyurethane finish guitar, I wouldn't be happy knowing that in 20 years the guitar would look like out of the box.
Yeah.
And I like looking at my guitar and seeing all the scars and things, because that reminds me of my journey. So yeah, that's why I chose that. And yeah, pretty much from that point on, I was set with guitars. Like, yeah, I would like getting a lot of gear.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys which, like, I feel like stuck in my job. Like, I'm building a lot of pedals, and almost like whenever I come out with a new pedal, even if it's something which originally I made for myself, I end up like not even having one. So because I never find time to, I mean, it's something which is happening nowadays more than in the past, but my free time is becoming less. Possibly it's also because my job is music related. So if I do like 10 hours soldering pedals, testing them and stuff, then if I had to sit down and play guitar through my pedal board MIM, I would feel like, oh my God, I need to take a break out of music, you know?
Yeah.
So that is something which I'm not super happy about it. I know I need to do something. So possibly in the future, there will be more guitars. Like I would like getting a Telecaster, a Gretsch White Falcon, a Jaguar, stuff like that. And some more amplifiers. But at the moment, I'm settled with this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, whenever I will have some more free time, it will be natural for me to just search for new gear, I guess.
Yeah. Well, look, well, thank you so much for coming along and having a chat to us. It's been an absolute pleasure to get.
It's been
really interesting to learn from you.
Oh my God.
So thank you very much for that, and hopefully we'll see you again soon in FX Pedal Planet.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.